General knowledge, questions and answers on Mauryan Empire and Gupta period in India. What is the Gupta dynasty best known for? Prosperity in the Gupta Empire initiated a period known as the Golden Age of India, marked by extensive inventions and discoveries in science, technology, engineering, art, dialectic, literature, logic, mathematics, astronomy, religion, and philosophy. Which is the oldest dynasty in India? Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire, 320 to 185 BC, was the first major historical Indian empire and definitely the largest one created by an Indian dynasty. The empire arose as a consequence of state consolidation in northern India, which led to one state, Magadha, in today's Bihar, dominating the Ganga's plain. Who ruled India in first century? First century establishment of the Kushan Empire by Kujula Kadaphises. Gautamiputra Shatakarni becomes Shatavahana Empire and starts Shalivahana era calendar after defeating Scythian king Mas. Sugar was first produced from sugarcane plants in northern India sometime after the first century. Who stopped Alexander in India? King Porus of Paurava. King Porus of Paurava blocked Alexander's advance at a ford on the Hydaspes River, now the Jhelum, in the Punjab. The forces were numerically quite evenly balanced, although Alexander had more cavalry and Porus fielded 200 war elephants. Who was the last king of Gupta dynasty? Skandagupta. Skandagupta, son and successor of Kumaragupta I, is generally considered to be the last of the Gupta rulers. He assumed the titles of Vikramaditya and Kramaditya. How did the Gupta Empire begin? The Gupta dynasty flourished immensely under Chandragupta II, but rapidly weakened during the reign of his two successors. A wave of invasions launched by the Huns, a nomadic group from Central Asia, started in 480 century. 2 decades later, Gupta kings had little territory left under their control. What new technology did Gupta discover in India? Gupta's scientists discovered that there were 7 planets in the solar system. They also created the technology that was able to help them detect eclipses of the sun and moon. Aryabhatta was one of the most famous scientists in the Gupta Empire. He determined the Earth's rotation on an axis and revolves around the sun. Who destroyed Mauryan Empire? General Pushyamitra Sunga. Ashoka the Great rule was followed by 50 years of weak kings who did not retain strong central authority. This eventually led to the dissolution of the Mauryan Empire. General Pushyamitra Sunga staged a coup against the Mauryan dynasty in 185 BC. Who was the last king of Mauryan Empire? Brihadratha Maurya. Brihadratha, son of Satadhanavan, Brihadratha Maurya was the last ruler of the Mauryan Empire. He ruled from 187 to 180 BC. He was also loyal to Buddhism. He was killed by his general Pushyamitra Sunga, who went on to establish the Shunga Empire. Who is the next king after Ashoka? Dasharatha Maurya. Ashoka was followed for 50 years by a succession of weaker kings. He was succeeded by Dasharatha Maurya, who was Ashoka's grandson. None of Ashoka's sons could ascend the throne after him. Mahendra, his firstborn, was on to spread Buddhism in the world. Who was the first great Buddhist king? Ashoka. Ashoka was able to rule over the vast and diverse Mauryan Empire through a centralized policy of dharma that favored peace and tolerance and that administered public works and social welfare. He likewise patronized the spread of Buddhism and art throughout the empire. Who brought the Mauryan Empire to its greatest heights? Chandragupta Maurya, an empire that began 321 BC with Chandragupta taking control of the Magadha Empire located on the lower Ganges river in India. Chandragupta's grandson, who brought the Mauryan Empire to its great heights, the acceptance of people who held different religious beliefs.